Morning, Sue. Just going to move this up a bit. There we go. Morning, everyone. Hope you've had a good morning, Sue. Lovely day out there. Did you take Teddy out? Morning, Moya. Honestly, that doggy of yours is so funny. Hi, Moya. Right, I've just realised I don't have any water in here. So 1 second, I shall be back in a minute. Right, sorry about that. Just need some water to have a drink just in case. Really probably should have tidied up my craft area. I seem to have stacks of ink all over the place. Hope you've had a good week, Moya. Morning, Brenda. And me. Hi, Lucinda. Lovely to have you along. Morning, Helen. Hope you enjoyed your dog walk as well. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned that we would need a fan brush. I can't remember. So if I didn't, we will need a paint. I think I said a paintbrush, didn't I? Which should be fine. That'll be fine. Not sure how many are joining us today. I know there's a couple that can't do it for various reasons. But we'll see who's here and then we'll get going. I think Nicola is due to be joining us. Hi, Nicola. Just as she comes in. Good morning. I don't know who else is coming along, so don't think it's too many today. I guess we're all starting to get out now, aren't we? Meet up with other people. So, oh, that's great, Helen. Well, I'm glad it was lovely. A bit chilly though. Yeah, it was a bit nippy when I popped outdoors, but It's a gorgeous day again, isn't it? Glorious blue sky. Well, it is here anyway. Glorious blue sky. Okay. Well, I think we'll make a start. As I said, I don't know how many are joining us. I don't think it's going to be too many today. So we're going to make a start with these cards. I can't even remember who asked me to do the Lavinia either, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So we're going to be using Lavinia, or I'm going to be using Lavinia stamps. If you want to use them as well, you can. If you have them, it doesn't matter if not. So we're going to do these sort of together, but not, because this is going to be done on the gel plate. So while that's drying, we can then make a start on this card. So we can be thinking about different things. And then, of course, we've got the stamping. And I realised something. I didn't tell you to get any coloured pencils, did I? Because I've coloured the trees. It doesn't matter. You can do that afterwards. I've just coloured the trees slightly. So that can be done afterwards if they're not handy for you just to grab. I'll go through. I'll just show you a couple of what I did and the other few bits. I did these so long ago that I can't remember what I did now. So anyway, we're going to do this one first. So we're going to need the gel plate out again. So the gel plate comes out and we're going to be using ink. And yes, my gel plate is filthy. So this should be interesting, although it's ink, so it should be fine that we're using. It's not going to pull the paint off. And even if it does, well, I'm going to get a bit of extra texture then, aren't I? So I'm glad you've all got lovely days as well. That's good. That's good. So what we need then is our dye-based inks and our brayer. And what we're going to do, as we've done before, is add the 3 colours onto our gel plate. Send these flying everywhere. So I'm going to put some reddy colour around the bottom, although I don't know how red this is. I'm just going to keep this. If you want to use distress inks, then you can do that as well, which I may have done, but I'm going to use different inks just so we get a different look kind of thing. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of orangey colour, I think, and then we're going to have some yellow. And I'm just using Altenew dye-based inks here. It really doesn't matter whose dye-based inks they are. Let's have that one. So I'm just going to add these and then blend them together so that we don't literally have, you know, 3 very strict lines. I don't really want that. We can blend them together anyway and blend the colours up and down so they can mix into each other. Okay. And then once we've added them, then we're then going to roll our brayer. I'm going to start at the top. So we start light and then come down into the dark. And then we should hopefully have some colour, which of course you can't see. Loving what I've got on my brayer though. So that's really good. So if you should have some poppy paper around, which of course I don't. I'll just grab some, or even some card, because that's a great way of getting some colour down, isn't it? I'll just clean the brayer off. Yeah, nice. And that's caught the mat underneath. So give me some diagonal lines. It's quite cool. Anyway, put that to one side. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of water, a little bit of ink to this as well. So instead of using the brushos, which I know you all know I have got, I don't know how many of you actually got brushos, but if you haven't got brushos, so we're going to use some of the ink. I'm going to go for the lighter colours here. So I'm going to use the same ink. And with my fan brush, did I ask you to get a paintbrush? I'm sorry if I didn't. And then going to just take some water, get it nice and wet, and then just splatter over it. Just a little, just a few. We don't want too many, says she. And then do the same with the other colour. I'm going to put in is the yellow. And just splatter. So we should have a gel plate now with dye-based inks on and a little bit of texture, if you like, added. Oops, I'll just move that out of the way. Apologies for my arm going across the camera there. I need to wipe this up. So I'm very sorry. I'm just going to wipe it. I know. We could put it on some card. Have I got any card hanging around? Let's have a look. This tag might do. Just seems a crime to waste it, really, doesn't it? I'm sure I can find something to do with that or use that in something. Right. Make sure that's all nice and dry. Okay. So we're going to take our paper now. So I'm using stencil card and I'm going to line it up over it, over the base, or if you want, you can turn it over. Let's have a look. Let's see. So if we go like that, hopefully that's pretty level. I'm hoping it is. Maybe not. And then you can press either way. So it gets the ink onto your card. Okay. Morning to those of you that have joined us. Okay. And then gently pull. We should have some interesting. Now, because of the paint, I've got this texture on here, which I'm fine about. I don't mind. But here we go. It's not quite even in there, is it? But so that's what I've got. I don't know what you've got. I do have another one as well that I've done, that I did when I was sorting it out. So I've got this one, which was a bit heavy on the old yellow brush over there. But then I like this one. I kind of like that. Maybe a bit heavy there, but that's okay. That's okay. So whilst we leave that to dry a little bit, because I don't want to really use the heat gun or anything, we'll put that aside to make sure it's completely dry. And then we'll bring in our other one here. So you need your sheet of copy paper, which we're going to rip. Where is it? I can't even see my stamping board. Oh, there it is. Aha! Told you I should have cleaned up my craft room, didn't I? Right, here we go. So with your DL card now, so I'll wait for you in a minute. We're then going to take a piece of paper and we're going to create our hills. So with it to the side, just drag. If you've got a board or something that you want to tear across, do that. But then we're going to tear some hills. That might be a bit extreme. Never mind. Might be a bit extreme. That is a bit of a deep. Not happy with it, then just try something else. I don't think I want it quite that harsh. There we go. That'll do. That's nice. Okay, we'll go with this one. All right. And so this is where I'm going to use the oxides. And it doesn't matter which tool you're going to work with on here. I think I'm going to use some smoothies for this one, which I've had lying around the place. I don't usually use them, but you know, let's try something different. And we're going to do the green base and the blue sky. Now the blue sky, I probably won't use one of these. We'll just do it freehand. All right. Oops. Just have that there so I can see what we're doing. Is everybody at this point? Are you ready for me to? Are we ready to start adding colour here? we can slow down. So you should have a piece that you've gel plated or use your gel press on. And then we're now on the DL size card. And we're going to add colour top and bottom. Is everybody with me on here? Okay. So I'm going to take the green and using my mask, I'm going to do it about. I want to leave a little bit of white in the middle here. So let's have a look. See, I think that's about high enough. And so off the mat, I'm just going to then come in so that we've got some colour. Let's do this bit first down here. So make sure your blending tool is loaded with colour. So we get a good run at it. And then we can always go back in with a little bit more later on. Oh, yes, ready. I'm here. I'm there, I think. Okay. I will wait anyway. So we'll so this is the next bit. So we just want to get the green on the base of the card. There we go. Am I happy with that? Yes. Oh, except that bit up there where I smooshed my paper. So as you can see here, I've got some that's moved out the way. So what I'm going to, where the paper's moved, so I'm going to bring in a lighter edge. There we go. So if you've got that, just go in so we can create a lighter edge in the background. I've actually made it a bit more harsher this time. My other one was a lot softer. I don't even know if I used the mask actually, but it's good practice. We can use this. And so we have that kind of a base. And then freehand wise, with no mask, we'll then go in with the blue. So I'm just going to wipe up the green. And then when you're ready, go in with the blue. Now, because you've already coloured your base, you might want to get a piece of paper to hold it. As you see, oxides go everywhere. And then you won't be putting your fingerprints into the oxide either. So load up the blue, or whichever colours you're using. As I said, start on the mat, come off. We can have a nice blue sky like we have outside, I think. So. Now we could add all sorts of masks on this one with the moon or a sun mask or something like that, but I'm going to leave that today. Just going to bring this down a wee bit. That's it. So we have some white. I just wanted some white in the background. So there we go. Make sure it all blends in. There we go. And then, because it's oxides, we can, if you want to, then just do a little spritz. Just going to wipe my top up first. So with this then, if you want to add a few bits of water, you don't always have to use a brush. We can just use our hand. Put some in our hand and then just flick. Oh, although you've got to get some on there, of course. That's it. I don't want too many on here, so we'll just leave that to sit for a minute. And then we can dab that dry. And then with a paper towel, we can then just blot that. So it's starting to react as it is, because this is what happens with the oxides. So if you've used the oxides, you can then damp them down. There we go. So it's just like little sparkles of light in the background. So we should have, and I'll wait for you, 2 backgrounds like this. So we've got our gel plate one with our different colours, and then our inked background, and then different ways of splattering. So we splattered with colour here, and then we just splattered with water here. You could just do water on the gel plate as well. Okay. So that's where we are at the moment. So let me know when you've got both of your backgrounds done. Okay. How are we all doing? Busy getting your backgrounds done, probably. Just gonna move some stuff out the way here. I'll throw it on the floor as I just did. Thank you, Nicola. Thanks, Brenda. Great, Lucinda. That's really good. I'm glad you like your gel plate one. Thanks, Moya. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Sue. Excellent. That's us. That's all of us then, isn't it? That are chatting. I know some of you are watching without chatting, so hopefully you're ready with us as well. So what we're going to do now then is start the stamping. So this, we'll go with our gel plate one first. Need 11 green oxides. Well, there you go, Lucinda. Tim Holtz is releasing a new colour at the end of the month, but we don't know what it is yet. I haven't seen anybody else saying pre-order it. I just saw something. I can't remember where I saw it now. It was a glimpse, and I haven't seen it since. As in, next one's due. And I think it's around. Did he say the 24th? I'm sure it was towards the end of the month. So I don't know if anybody else has seen anything because I saw it and then it disappeared from view. So I don't know what happened there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come and do our stamping. So as you can see, mine's very different to how it was here. So we're going to have all sorts of marks going through. Is this dry? Ooh. I think it's all right. So what we're going to do are the foxes and the trees. Now, it's kind of up to, or whatever you're using. So whichever stamps you're using. So it's kind of up to you which you do first. The foxes or the trees. Now, if we do the foxes and we have them positioned, then we know where to put the trees. Yes. If we do the trees, then you need to make sure you've got enough room for the foxes. So I think I'm going to do the foxes first. And I'm going to decide to put them sort of in the middle because the trees can come anywhere, basically. And this is where you are going to need some masking paper or copy paper because we want to protect certainly the top. Now, these particular trees are likely to hit the top as we put them higher and higher. But at the moment, we should be all right. And I am going to use my stamp platform for this, for stamping my foxes, just to make sure we get a good coverage, because I'm going to be using brown. So although it's not impossible to colour any, if we missed it, we can go back in and colour it a little bit, but it's going to be easier on the stamping platform to make sure that happens. So that's what I'm going to be using. So whatever works for what you're working with, your stamps, then use that. I love the Lavinia stamps. They're not as thick as other stamps though, so sometimes I just find it easier, and it needs to go on the clear on here. Let's get this in the background and get this all sorted out. And I'm going to think about where I'm going to put my boxes. Let's hold the card near them. Okay, so whichever stamps, I'm going to keep referring to the Lavinia ones, but obviously you're using whichever ones are appropriate for you at this moment in time. Okay, so I'm going to sort out the foxes. So that's on that bit there, and I'm going to use this one, which we've got kind of there. I'm going to try to think, if you've got your tree handy, of course, it's useful to get your trees out as well. Let's just get all the stamps out. I have a rough idea where everything's going to go. Yeah, that's all right, because that fox is right by the tree. And will be like that, and then like that. And as you can see, it's going to go off the edge, so I need to protect the top on my ones. Okay, so we've got that and that. And then I'm just going to switch to the other fox. Oh, no, I'm not, because I haven't got room for that. We'll do that on the other one. So we're going to put that one there. I got room for my tree. Yes. And then, so we're going to stamp them separately, because obviously we're going to need to get this fox further down, so it's going to hit the rings. So we'll do it one everywhere it's going to go. So I'm going to put that fox there. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. So think about where your composition is going to be. Make sure it's on straight. And then we're going to ink this up. Because they're silhouette stamps, same applies with any stamp we use, any silhouette stamp. You really need to ink these up. As I said, they're nowhere near as deep as some of the other stamps. Which isn't a bad thing, you just have to be a bit careful. Hopefully that's okay. Just going to try and keep that flat. Right, let's go for it then. And then we're going to do our first print. So make sure it's got to actually soak in. I haven't made my base quite as dark as the first one. Hey ho. There we go. Yay, not too bad. Probably could do with a little bit more in the middle, but I think I'm actually going to leave it. I don't know, shall I? I'll do a little bit more. Hopefully this card hasn't moved. A little bit more ink. Particularly right in the middle there. On this case. Okay. This one off. And then when you're ready, pop your next fox down. So I had him kind of sitting up a little bit higher up. You need to have a look. There we go. So I had mine positioned closer together like that. There we go. To mention, I'm actually using Pinecone VersaFine Clear. Any colour you wish. If you want to stick with the black, that's great. If you want to do a brown, I just wanted to do something slightly different, really. I mean, if you want to stamp your other images in any colour you like, really, can't you? You can do whatever you want. Whatever colour you fancy. Have a weird line in there. It looks like I have got some thread. I have. Oh. Okay. I do this. I don't think you can see it on the camera, but I actually have a lump of thread there. Right. Okay. Again. Okay. You can't see that on the black, can you? What I'm doing. That's it. Okay, happy with that. So once you've got your main images stamped, as in the characters, I'm then going to put the trees on. So it's up to you where you want to go. Now it's on here, but I'm going to have to do something different for these trees because it's going to go over the top, so I need to mask this bit off. So I'll leave this one in position at the minute, and then I'll move the card down. There we go. Now this tree, yeah, it's right in the front, isn't it? Do I want it up a little bit higher? No, I'm going to leave it there. Oh, it's a good. It's not straight, is it? No, it wasn't straight. Sorry. Not that I guess a tree has to be dead straight, because they're not, are they? There we go. Let's move it up a fraction, I think. There. Better. As you can see, I'm just inking up the stamp. Oops. And then just creating a landslide on my desk. Okay. Then that a good press. There we go. That's that one. And then just put that away for the minute. Okay, just going to wipe my hands now that I'm going to touch my card again. Okay. Okay, didn't really want that to happen. Oh. So let's have this against, let's do the 1 inch so I can line it back up, well, roughly. Okay, so now I'm going to do the trees on the other side. So this one is going to go here. So it's going to go over the top. So you place a bit of paper. Oh, that's not going to work, is it, in a press? Put some paper there if you're not working on a press. Or tear a piece. Where do we want it? We want it like that, don't we? That's okay. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't go in, it's fading into the distance. So that's great. So I have that like that then. So we have the first one is up here, isn't it? I don't want it completely level with that one. So we have that a little bit in the background. Again, we can have it towards the edges. Relatively strong. And then you can ink it up. pressed in. So we got some ink going into the card. There we go. And there's one tree. Now this tree has got ink on it. So that's why I have with my stamp press, because when it comes to, if you're going to re-stamp the same stamp, and I've probably got to move this down anyway, you don't want the ink on your impression. Okay, so we're all right. So I'm going to put this into the background like that. Just got enough room, I think. From that heading point, no, maybe not. Let's move the card down a little bit. 1.5. So then there we go. That's why I always have them with my stamp press. And then this tree might be slightly leaning to one side, which is fine. It's in the distance, it's a tree. Dead straight. There we go. That is any tree, absolutely. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. When I say they're not dead straight, they do have a little curve to them, some of them, don't they? I suppose cypress trees are straight. Right, there we go. So that's the stamping I'm going to do. Now, we have a choice here. Because we're doing the 2 cards and because we've got the stamp press out, we can now stamp these images again on, which I think we're going to do, if that's okay with you. So we're actually working in tandem, because otherwise we've got to put all this away and then we're going to get it back out again in a minute. So if everybody's happy with what they've done on their card so far, like this. So this is what we've got so far. Okay, and I'm standing up, so it's just card to the next card, just to do the base stamping. The flowers we'll do without the press, and then we'll work on one card and we'll finish it. But for the main stamping, I think we'll do it all now. So let me know when you're ready to move on to the DL card, okay? To keep an eye on that. Okay. So let's think what we're going to do. I'm going to put the fox over here. And it's the other fox, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Moya. Placement for the minute. Yeah, that will work there. I'm going to have him there. Excellent, ladies. Thank you. It's all right. I'm just sorting out my placement. So grab your DL card and think about where you're going to put They're being uber active, aren't they, my magnets? That's it. So get the position in and then stamp and then ink up and stamp your images. There we go. There we go. Yeah, happy with that. Might have had. Oh well. He's where he is now, isn't he? So that's fine. That's fine. I did have him a little bit lower. And then we're going to put the other one on. I think I'll have him. We'll have this one lower slightly. So think about where your fox is. Oops. There we go. Ink that one up. Good press. Let that really soak in again. Now that we're on the oxides. There we go. And then the owl fly. Let's do this. I actually think I did the trees first with this one when I did this. Let's make sure I can get the trees in. So we've got one here, I think. One here. Right, you've got your foxes in. Let's do the tree then. So let's have one here, I think. And it doesn't matter about this one going off. So we can have that one there. I'm only using the smaller of the trees for this one. I haven't used the large one. There's really no need to ink the whole thing, but anyway. Oops. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to bring in the, move it over slightly for the next bit. Oh. Okay. So we're going to put that one in there then. Ink that one there. So lots of advantages to a stamp press. Then when you want to do things off the page and everything, you've got to realise how much room you've got. Which of course it's easy to move the card. So it was me not thinking. Now my foam is going to catch this bit here, because of the way I've got my foam underneath. It's in half. Oh, you stop it, you two. Right. So I need to move that over slightly, or I twist my card over. Let's just do it this way for the minute. So I'll move it over like that. Oops. Have it like this. And then the bag. Bring the tree back into somewhere like that. Okay. So I'm keeping the positions of the trees. I don't really want them in line. So with the bases, I mean, so they've got, they're a bit, so they're not level. I want them at different levels. Does that make sense? Yeah. Ooh, did I just freeze? So I want them at, so I've got my trees at different levels. Oops. So you see, and I want that one kind of come, so I've lifted it up a little bit. All right, just to give it some movement. What is going on over there? Okay, so now that I've moved it out all over the place, there we go. That definitely isn't straight. I don't want him that crooked. There we go. Okay. Now I'll just pop the owl in. There we go. Give them a little wipe. So with the owl then, so they're watching him come into flight, or her. So I'm just going to stamp it off the page. So can you see where I've lined this up? So on mine, I know not all of you are going to be using the owl, but here I've got mine so the wings are off it, so it's just the owl is just coming into the picture rather than being, you know, slap bang in the middle kind of thing. So I want that, so it gives it kind of movement kind of thing, so that we can imagine it's coming in or indeed going out. It could be flying off the other way for what we know. Okay, so that's how I'm going to put mine on. So it looks like there is some movement. So the part of my wing is over the tree, and then it's coming into the picture like that. And again, let it soak into the card base. And then that way we can then put the stamp press away. Those of you There you go. And so once that's done, we can then pop the card to one side as we get this out of the way. Just going to clean that stamp. Right, clean my fingers. Okay, so let's, don't forget to wipe your bag down as well, because you don't really want it to stay wet when you come to use it the next time. That kind of defeats the object if you're going to use it to protect your card and then throw a load of... Right. There we go. Let's just pop that out of the way for the minute. And then we'll carry on. So we'll just wait for everybody to get to that point. Put that ink away. I seem to have got a load of ink over my mat, which is handy. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. Right. Ooh, look at that. Doing some other stamping on there. Let's get this back, because then we're going to add the flowers, but we will work on one at a time now. So I'm going to work on the gel plate one. This is the one that we need to mask out edges and everything with, but we'll be fine. Out of the press, that'll be fine. Okay. So let me know when you're ready to start doing the rest of the decoration. So now we're going to look at doing this, the flowers, etc., going around it. Right, so the animals, I'm just going to pop these away. I don't need any of that for the minute. Let's just get that out of the way while I'm waiting for you guys to catch up. It's not a race, so don't worry. Oops. There we go. So I'm going to use the leaves and some of the grassy different type of flowers I've got. So I'm going to get that out. I don't need that. That's the bee. If you've got Lavinia stamps, I don't know. I saw Joe and so they keep, because it's not, if you don't keep the piece of card, depending on how you store your stamps, then you can just write on the acetate what it's actually called if you need to know. It's quite a handy little thing to do, isn't it? So you do that on any stamp, really. But, this one, Lavinia's, they're not marked on the actual acetate itself. Well, some are, not all of them are though. So we'll just have that and that, and then some of the grasses. Okay, so I'm just getting mine. Right, so I've got that, and I've got the foxglove. I've used the wild flower, I've used the wild grasses, and the foxglove on this one I've only used two. It looks like I've only used two on this stamp, on this one, but just lots of colour, different colours. Okay. Don't forget, you can use whatever it is that you want to use. It's fine. Okay. So So let me know when you're ready to move on. I think I do use that one, actually. Thank you, Brenda. Oh, Sue as well. Sorry I missed you. And thank you, Moya. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Helen. Okay, guys. All right. So a couple more moments then, and we'll move on to starting the stamping. This one. Give everyone a chance to catch up if they're doing it. Okay, Lucinda, don't worry. It's not, crucial. It was just that I was used it. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at adding the grasses and the leaves to these trees. So what I've got is, this is one of their little, now the good thing about Lavinia is they do quite a few pound stamps, which are quite tiny, but they're really useful. So this was £1. So, if you're ordering anything from Lavinia, should you wish to do so, then take a look at their pound stamps as well, because there's quite a lot in there that work really well as fill-in stamps, or there's little creature stamps. So they're lovely. And then I'm also using these 3 stamps. So these are the only 2 I use on the base to build these up here. So I'm going to use different colours so that it gives them a different effect. And the colours I'm using is the Summertime, Tulip Red, these are all Versifying Claire, and then you can stamp and then stamp off, and that just gives it depth. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. So if you have all of that together, it's literally, where do you want to put your stamps? Now, I'll do the tree in a minute. So if we're looking at where we're going to stamp around the foxes, this is where I want to do some masking off around here, because, or you can have it coming off the edge if you want. I'm going to just use tips of it. So sometimes if you just want a shorter image, you might only want to use the very top of the in this instance, the field grass, because it's quite tall. So if I only really want the grassy bit, then obviously in this case, I don't want anything stamped over there. If you want it coming off the edge, then leave it open. All right. So I'm going to need to mask this off. Now, we should be able to be okay with using a piece of copy paper because it's not very thick or anything. If you want to do it that way, you can. If you're happy using a bit of tape, then do it that way as well. All right. I mean, the gel plate is not 100% square anyway, so it may be you want to change positions depending on what you're stamping. All right. So I'm just going to use it like that for the minute, or when I need it, I'm just going to highlight, just do the bottom area here. So I'm going to use this one here. I think I'm going to do the foxgloves first, because I'm going to put them kind of towards the back. I'm not 100% happy with what I did with my first one anyway, but I think now, see, sometimes these stamps look kind of large compared to the tree kind of thing. It's quite a large foxglove, isn't it? Which is great because I like the flowery bit. But then maybe we just do it like this, and then the field grasses are going to come. The field grasses, you could stamp a couple like that, and then even bring the foxgloves towards the edges. Do you see what I mean? And again, I'm going to probably I'll mask off the sides as well when I come in from the angles. When we're stamping these, whatever image you're stamping, it doesn't really matter. Then if you're going to do one, then if you've got another one, then just move it to an angle, just angle it slightly. You don't want them all, darts aren't like that. So if you want them kind of moving, you can even, don't forget, depending on your stamp, you can just move them. So maybe not quite that bad, but maybe there is a slight breeze, so the flowers are off central. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I see from my iPad that this is jumping, so I don't know if this is freezing for any of you, so I'm sorry if it is. Hopefully you haven't lost anything. But of the flowers like that. Now, obviously I haven't got any masks for these foxes, which if we want to go behind them is really something that we should have done, but I haven't done that for you guys, so we'll just leave it like this for the minute. All right, and if you don't want to, if you want the foxglove behind the fox, then just grab another piece of paper and just keep it so it could be that it's anyway, it's gone behind the fox. Does that make sense? All right, so work your way through your image then, thinking about where you want to put your stamps, then come in front, then come in front of the tree, front of the foxes, back, and then once I'll do one, and then we'll do one, and then we'll do the other one stamped off, because then you can see. I don't know why my mum's ringing me. I hope that's not urgent. A stamped image. Let's have a look. Let's push this back up here a bit. So it's going to be in front of the tree. And I think it's going to be crooked, but anyway, never mind. Let's just stamp that like that. There we go. And then think about just doing it in the background. Just going to do it straighter. And you can even do it. Let's go behind this. Oh, I want to spare. I didn't want you to have to spend hours stamping masks for all these things. But if we go, and then stamp again, just a little bit. I don't need all of it. Ooh. And you're not going to see this. There's a little tiny bit there. Oh well, I'm sure it doesn't matter. I can just stamp like that along the edge. All right. Yeah, it's not going to show now. But that's the kind of thing I was trying to do. We'll do it again in a minute. Let me show you. I'll just stamp it up. Stamp it off. And where are we going to put it? Let's do. don't really want it on the tree, but anyway, looks like it's going to be on the tree. Should have had loads and loads of masks there. Okay, so you can see that it's further in the distance. So if you do that, if we do dark and light on all of them, so working with your first stamped image, think about where you're going to put them, whether you want to bring them lower down. If you want it within the gel plate itself, then keep it like that. If you want it, then by all means, you don't need to do any of that masking. But let's just add a couple of these in. Going to have this one right in the front here. Right, and then let's have a look. Shall I keep the fox a bit clearer? Let's have that one there. So they're quite large, aren't they? Ooh. And then just going to put one. No, I should have masked them off. There we go, one behind like that, so we can see it in the distance. That's fine. And then I think what I will do is have one from here. That's it, and then another one further back in the distance. There we go. So that's what I'm going to do. And then the field grasses, I'm going to use the field grass mainly, I think, so that we can bring in some different angles of stamps. So carry on, and I'm going to do different colours. This is going to be the one with the 3 colours in probably. I'll do a couple of red, some in the purple and some in the orange, just to give it whichever way you want. I'm going to just do it. I really just want the top part to come in here for the minute. That's it. And then double stamp that one. There we go. So it'll start building up a little bit of depth. So, and then we're going to repeat this on the DL card as well, using different colours. So I want to protect the edge. I should probably just mask this whole thing off. But it's not quite square, is it? Square. Let's have a look. Let's do that like that. And then again, another double stamp. So you can see, as we're stamping it, you've got some paler ones and it looks like they're just further in the distance. So it's building up what you're doing. Okay. So I'll do a couple more in that colour and then I'll bring some more in the other colours. So I'll have them like that. And then just off. And then I'm going to bring a couple more lower down and I'm going to bring in some extra colours. Let's have some of that here. There we go. So I'm going to change the colour. It's a bit of a clean. Right, I'll do a couple in the red, I think. Mainly the grassy bit at the top. So it's obviously not showing over the fox very well, which you won't do because the fox is brown. Let's go like that. There. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the lighter colour in. So whenever you've got enough of the stamps that you want in the foreground, then stop. Okay, and then oops, on there. This is such a pale colour that I'm not really gonna. I think we'll see too much. No, it's too pale. With the Stampin' Up. There we go. So I'm not going to do any more. So I think it's going to get too messy in a minute. I think I'm going to add a little bit of the purple colour just coming in from the edge here. So as though it's just blowing in the breeze like that. That's better. And even higher up actually. Let's see. Let's do a little bit more. Stamp it off and then do it. There we go. So that's bringing it in around the edge as well. And I'll just do one here as a bit further up on this one as well. Stamp it off. Ooh, and off and off. It's not going to be very good, is it? And then come in here from the outside, right over on the edge here. That's better, just so we've got something coming into the picture like that. Okay, so we've got some edges. And then I'm going to leave that for the minute. I think the only other thing, I think I'm going to put a little bit more on the base here, just with the top of the grass. So we've got some bits here just at the bottom. Right on the very edge. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. So once I've done the base, I'm then going to move up and do the leaves up in the trees up here. Okay. I'm just using the summertime stamp for that. Let's clean this one off. I'm going to need that again in a minute. And then I'm just going to stamp some of the leaves around the tree, okay, at the top. So how are you all doing? So dancing around in the in the light, in the breeze. Oh, and I've gone over the edge. Never mind. Not too bad there. So we're going to cross over on the trees here. Just bringing some in. Okay. How are we all doing? We all got some leaves and things on our tree. Oops. I think that's probably enough. Yeah. Okay. So just clean that off. Right, I'm going to leave that like that. There's a couple of little things that we need to do. And that is, once you've finished all your stamping, you need to just put some grounding in for the foxes and the tree. So using it can be an ordinary pencil actually, a graphite pencil, or a brown pencil, any of the coloured pencils as well. You can do either. I'm just going to show you. We can just use an ordinary graphite, and then on the we just want a little bit of shade, and it's going to go over the and along here as well. And our fox. It's going to throw some shadow. And the main tree, which of course would be off of the card. There we go. So that just ground them. All right. And if you want to bring the trees in a bit more and you want something growing around the trees, I don't think I asked you to get one of your fine liner pens. I'll just show you. It was Joe that showed me this. So you just go, so with your black pen, you can just do some, don't even think about it. Just do some squiggly lines. As long as your pen's working. And it looks like that it's still got some grass growing around the trees. We'll do it on the other one as well, I think. Oh, no, I didn't do it on the other one because they're much more covered. So that's all I'm going to do on that one. What I did do, which I haven't asked you to bring the coloured pencils in though, is coloured the trees the same colour ink that I've used at the bottom, underneath it. So as you can see, I've gone red into orange into the paler kind of peachy colour. I did it here and then the yellow, although the yellow hasn't really shown there. And that's what I did there. I just coloured it up. But what I wanted to do was just finish the DL card, and then we can I'll just go over one of the tree trunks and you can do that afterwards, if that's all right, so that you've got the bases of both cards finished, and I'll just show you what I did. That's all right. So when you're ready, let me know and we'll move on to the DL card. So I'll leave that there for the minute. Take it out of the way. Just been Lucinda, was that before I started talking about grounding them? So with your hairs, they need to have some shadow just underneath them. You can even do it the same colour if you want, wherever they're sitting. It could be the red, but I've just used the graphite because it's casting a grey kind of shadow over it. Is that going to help? Okay. Hopefully with your little bit of shadowing then it will fit quite nicely. It will look a little better. Okay. And we can, of course, put glitter all over these places, which I haven't got out. Did I asked you to get your glitter, didn't I? So we could just add a little bit of glitter on some of the flowers, on the grasses, which I'll show you how to do that if you want to do it. Just grab my glitter. So what I used is the glitter and my glue pen. Because we've got to cut. Oh, I need to colour the tree in, don't I? Oh, I can just show you. All Tracy from Lavinia, when you watch her, she just takes the pen with the glue pen, and just dabs, depending on where she wants the glitter. So it's not heavy. It's not, we're going to do it again actually at the next session, because that's what's on the wreath. I did some glitter on the wreath. You can. I'll just do that for the minute because I want to do the tree. And if you want some on the leaves. I have to come back and finish this, won't I? So you just quick little dots. As if it's just catching the light, it's not completely covered. And then we can then, I'm using the Glamour Dust, but any fine glitter you have really will work. And then tap it off. Of course, what I didn't check was if everything was dry, because it's going to stick to everything that's wet. Oh, there we go. It's come off now. So then you get a very slight, gosh, you're going to see the shimmer here. Let's get it, if I get it under the light. Can you see? Can you see it shimmer? I think you can just see it shimmering, can't you? So it's a very light covering of glitter just to give it a little bit of something. Obviously, you can make it heavier than that. I want to show you the tree in a minute. I want to get the other stamping done though, so that all the stamping's done, and then you can add any colour you want to when you want to, because it's fine. You can you may not have, I don't know which stamps you've got, so if you don't have open tree stamps like this, then you're not going to want to colour them anyway. You'll be able to, so we'll get that out of the way. So, who's ready to stamp up on the DL card? It's exactly the same. We're not doing anything particularly different. I just use the same stamps again with different colours. Except I've now lost my field grass stamp. Where's the field? Oh, it's over here. Right, brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so again, it's similar. This time we're not worrying about masking, so you can go to town about coming off of the edge. And also, I said I'd show you white stamping as well, didn't I? So let's have a look at this then. So I'm just going to bring in green and blue for my colouring. So, I mean, if you don't want to do that, then that's absolutely fine. And again, we're just going to ink up, and this time I've got Paradise, Shady Lane and Twilight. I'm not sure this is the right blue I used, but it's it doesn't really matter actually, because they're all lovely blues, so it will look fine. So I just again, just stamp the image, and you can also do hang on, it went off the edge, didn't it? So it's not completely. And then again, do a double stamp. So you've got the paler ones in the background, and that's how I did this. So I was just doing that kind of thing on here. I think I did use a different blue though. What I used? I might even have used the Distress Oxide actually. Let's do that there. Then an angle in the background. I'm going to bring one in from the edge as well. Just like that. So all you've got is actually the top of the flower coming in, so you can't even see the stem. We'll put some grasses there as well. And again, if you want one further in the background, just pop it there. Okay. So that's some of the foxgloves. I think I did. Yeah, I think I probably will only do this one, I think. I'll do one more there. Oops. That's if you don't drop the stamp, doesn't it? And then a slight angle going that way as well. And then I'm going to do some of the grasses. Oh, I need another of the stamps out. My little flower stamp at the end. So then did a couple of the grasses using Shady Lane. Mainly, though, I was stamping much more just the top part of the field grass on this one. I didn't really use the leaves. And you're going to need to ground your foxes again a little bit. And so we've got more of the field grass here. And here. Go off at an angle. So just keep stamping. Angle, just don't forget to angle your stamps. That's it. And then I did a little bit in a darker blue. It's a little bit coming up. Sure we're inking all these up, and then again getting into the distance. That's it. And then we did the that's it. I'm not going to do too much more. So that colour, I don't think. Oh, let's put a little bit coming in from the edge as well as the foxglove, so they can go over the foxglove. Sorry, I shouldn't be rushing really. It's just keep stamping where you want it to be. There we go. And probably ought to do a couple in the background. I haven't got any of these in the background really. So stamp them off in the background. I'm looking forward to seeing all your wonderful creations, which are going to be probably be a lot better than mine. Anyway, that's what I've done with them. We're just going to do the trees and let that ink dry off a bit, and then I'll come back with the white. I have to make sure that's really dry down there actually. So using the Shady Lane, I'm gonna put some leaves on, and these can come in from the top of the card, even where you don't think there is a tree really. So you could have the leaves coming in from the side as well, because we've got another tree in the area that's not there. You can even, I've got that little corner stamp one coming in like that. So it's as if you've got more trees than there are there, if that makes sense. So, gosh, Angela, carry on. And again, we're going to come in right from the very top. Come down a bit further. Again, there we go. So we've got some nice leaves. Then at the top on this one. At the top here. And you can come in as well. Oh, look at that. I nearly dropped. I did drop it. All right, I'm going to have to do that there then, because I just dropped my stamp. And then coming in from the top like that. So it looks like there's a bigger canopy. Probably could do with one by the owl as well. I don't know how that's going to look, because he's flying. No, don't think. I'm going to leave that. Not sure that's going to look right. Okay. So we can do that. Still a bit damp. And again, you can add some shadow just with a graphite pencil, or any of your other coloured pencils you've got, you can use, obviously, to do the. And then bring in some shadow just around the foxes. And again, I coloured these trees in with my brown pencil. What I'm going to do on here, I'm going to show you one of those trees coloured in. You carry on stamping. I'm just going to grab my pen because I want to show you something else as well. So, let me know when you're finished your stamping. I'll just show you something, and then also we'll add a little bit of white as well to this one. So let's just put that on a clean piece of paper rather than uncovered all in ink. Okay. Okay, you carry on. Oh, thank you, Moya. I'm just looking for my white pergamano. Not pergamano. What am I on about? Posca pen. I've got my black. I don't know where my white one is. Hidden. Hidden. Okay. All right, I'm just going to show you what I've done on these trees, if you happen to have these trees. Okay. When you're ready, I don't know how many you have got these Lavinia trees. Just get them out of the way. But what I want, because of the gaps, and I know my pencil's not sharp enough. Okay, don't tell me off. What I'm going to do is, what I just did was, the reason I'm just kind of colour one piece in is because I want to show you something else I did as well. Was coloured it in. So I've coloured in I'm colouring in my tree very gently. I'm not putting any pressure on this at all. And you can keep going and layering it up. But with this particular tree, you've got all these little dots on it as well. So you've got all this lovely bark, root, whatever you want to call it. And in this one, I am just colouring it brown. In the other one, I did change the colours up to go to blend in with the background, not blend, but to look as if they've been caught by the same light. So when you're doing with this tree, what I did, because I went over it like this, you're colouring up the dots, those little white dots. So what I actually did, as well as stamping, I did this bit last, but anyway, as well as stamping, I then went in with my Posca pen very gently at the edge. I popped them back in again. So it just gives it something as well, I thought. I'm going to put some white flowers on. But because I added the dots in like this, where I'd coloured, and then I don't know, it gives it something else to the tree. Now, not all of you have got this tree, but that's just what I wanted to show you. So when I've coloured in the tree, as you can see from the stamp here, which I would do, but I've got to colour it all in first. Probably could do with a bit darker brown on here as well, but that's on there. And then the other thing I did was stamped with white ink, and I used a little flower that goes. I'm gonna have to again with a little flower that actually comes with the berry stem. I think it comes with. Oh, Angela, helps if you put it up the right way. Just saying. So now I've got this white here, but I'm going to show you something else which should work. She says. So then, because of the white, it just kind of, I thought the white pet just brought the image to life a little bit. It just lifted it slightly, or that's how I felt about it anyway. So I just added the white. Now, those of you that don't have the white ink, your Posca pen is off. Oops. You might not get a perfect image coming off. So what you should be able to do is either dab the ink on or decant some of it. See, I've got a very fine Posca here. If you've got a thicker one, then you should be able to stamp with it. Okay, so if you've got your Posca pen, and you're going to bring it over and then just stamp. Oops, you need a bit more on, but can you see it's starting to come out? So I need my other white. I need my thicker white one, which I'll grab. Let me see if I have a thick one. It's better to decant the acrylic onto the mat, actually. Is this a thicker one? No. Oh, have I not got a thick white? Because you can stamp with your acrylic paint. What you want to do, come on. I just thought about showing you this because, of course, I use the white ink and not everybody's got white. But you should, a lot of you should have this. I don't know if you all have got one, but any acrylic would do really work. So put it. You can then stamp into And then stamp onto the card. There you go. So you've got some white stamp. Don't have any white ink, so you could use your Posca pen, okay, or any acrylic paint actually. The Posca is a great big mass of paint. All right, and then you can pick it up, and then we can do another one. So let's say we're going to go here. Grab. It's not as bright, but then sometimes the stamp keep. Alternatively, because it's thicker, let's just get some paint on here. I mean, really, I should be testing it on something else other than the actual card I'm making. But hey ho, roughly. There we go. You get it. Does that make sense? So, hopefully, I don't always have the white pen, the white ink pad. With your white acrylic, you can see that you can stamp with it. Does that make sense? Hopefully, that's going to help. I'm going to go back to using this for the minute. Oops. So we can just then stamp away. But it's entirely up to you how you do it. So I was just trying to show you different ways of making up your stamp if you don't always have what you want, the ink, the actual ink itself. Look for something else. Do that. All right. And I think the white does lift it somewhat. There we go. There you go. So that was something else I just wanted to show you. Should have been more prepared because I knew I wanted to show you. So sorry about that. I forgot. At least when you got your pen. So if you've got a thicker pen or some acrylic paint, we'll do the same thing. All right. I just have to get this white off of this stamp for a minute. There we go. Okay. So how is everybody? Has everybody kind of got their cards in the trunk of this one? You can leave them open. They kind of look good open because they're still picking up the colour anyway. But if you wanted to give it more colour, more depth, then you can do, as I did on this one. I went over with, as I said, the pencils, but it's not too bad like that. If you want to leave it like that, if you want to colour it, if you tree trunk stamps, because obviously if you haven't got them, then you're not going to have that same issue. Now, once these cards are finished, I'm just going to pop onto a black card base. It's an 8x8 card. If you're on a white card, so you've got 1/4 of an inch, probably may be able to push out to 1/2 an inch, you can actually put a black layer underneath it if you're going, as I did with this one. So I layered it up on black for this one and then popped it onto the DL card. And don't forget, if you're going to do what you want to do on the inside and what images you're going to use, you only want to bring it together. So it may be that you just do a little bit of colour in and maybe one of the flowers. It could be a little bit of the ink and then one of the foxes. That would look nice in there. And then obviously on this one, I'd have to do an insert anyway to be able to write on it. Does that help? So hopefully that's all right with you. Obviously, I haven't got it perfectly lined up because I haven't glued it down. I'm thinking I may do the colouring still, so I don't want to glue mine down till the colour, till I've added the extra colouring with the trees. See, I use my trimmer to cut these, just using my trimmer without measuring it. Go and see what I can get, rather than measuring it all the time. You can see it's off. I think that gives you an idea of what we've done. I'll have to sort my background out, won't I? Sort my card and background out so that it's whatever next. So this should be, yeah, 9 centimetres. And it is. So what's this? 9.5 there. 9.5 there and 9.375 there. I guess I will be have to trim that up somehow. Do a smaller layer. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what I did. I knew I shouldn't have cut that black card out. I should have measured it. There you go. So hopefully you have got trimmers. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I was a bit disorganised there. And I completely forgot to give you the colouring. I haven't done the fourth card yet, so that's going to be a surprise for you. No, I'll show it to you, obviously, before you come here. We're going to do this one and another card next week. I'll do something with the toadstool again, so that we're using the same stamps rather than keep changing everything. I know the berries aren't, but these are the same similar stamps, and then I'm just going to do something with these, and I'll do something with the toadstool as well. Might make it a smaller card, fence background or something. I don't know. I'll have a look. I'll have a think about it, all right? So you can see what we haven't done. So thank you for joining me. I'll try and be more organised next month. But next couple of weeks. The next session, the session after the next session. So the next session is the 24th, isn't it? I think. Thank you, Helen. So what is the date? No, it's not. What's the date today? The 17th, isn't it? So it was the 1st of May is the next one. The one after the 1st of May, shaving foam. So you're going to need a can of shaving foam. Right. So I'll let you all get on now, because we're nearly up to 12 o'clock anyway. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you did all get something out of that. It looks like you have done. So thank you for that, and the different colouring and just the different ways. So I'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks' time. So thank you very much indeed. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.